everything's okay and is safe. Today we're going to talk about relationships, and in that case, we're going to talk about date nights. Um, so we've talked before about, in long-term relationships, complacency can creep in, and we want to avoid that. And we also want to keep things fresh and interesting, and we develop over time as human beings. So we grow and we want the relationship to grow as well. So, date nights have been found by research to be actually a vital component of a good, healthy relationship. Taking that time out just to be a couple, away from the stresses and strains of everyday life. And it doesn't have to be those grand gestures or even nights out or meals out or anything like that. Sometimes simple can work. And in fact, simple does work. Keep it about the two of you. Sorry, I'm going to be joined this morning by my cat. You can say hello, Jenny. Keep it simple, keep it about the two of you, keep it light, keep it fun if you can, step it outside the comfort zone would be important as well. But also think about, and I think this is very vital, is to park, and this is important, park the discussions about the kids and the mortgage and any other finances and the in-laws and any other issues, jobs or anything else. Park those to one side for the night. It's only for a few hours, so park them if you can. It would be vital, and just reconnect and rekindle the relationship as a couple. That's what's important. So park the stressful stuff. It's only for a few hours. Have another night for to discuss all those. It's important that you do have a night where it's like a family meeting, but you'll want to have you and your partner will want to have a meeting where you discuss the grown-up stuff, and then you can have a meeting with the rest of with the kids as well, where you talk about things, maybe have a game night and you make it a little bit more fun, but you talk through things there as well. If they need to bring up anything, they have a specific night that they can do that. um but think about doing that you park that stuff and have a specific night for talking about the stressful stuff, discussing your finances and all that sort of stuff, where you make bigger decisions. So you can do that once a month. Some people do it once a week. Just do a planning exercise together. Get out their planners and say, okay, where are you? What are you doing? And then when the paychecks come in, they decide where their finances are going to be spent that month and things like that. So they have a planning night, just particularly to deal with the stresses, those stressful things. But the other nights when they're spending time together, or when they're spending time together as a family, all that stuff gets parked for a couple of hours. So why do they work? Why are they so vital? The first reason is it enhances the friendship between the two of you. Friendship will sustain the relationship. Long term relationships, we know, go through these cycles. And they keep going through the same cycles. And I've talked about them before. So there is a video on that one where I explain that. It reinforces this idea of the friendship, that your partner is your friend. They are there for you, they have your back no matter what. So it takes away that element of the confrontation and enemy, and that's what's more important. You have a solid united front against the world, the two of you. Um so it does sustain the friendship, it does help that along. It builds the emotional connection as well. So the little romance, little small touches. I'm not talking about big gestures, as I said. Just small touches, holding hands, a hug, a kiss, a tender moment. They all help build and deepen the relationship. They all, help that build that connection between the two of you. And that's vital for the relationship as well. And that's what these date nights are about. Parking the stressful stuff and rekindling the romance. Okay. Three, it's going to improve the communication between the two of you. For the simple reason, if you're parking the stressful stuff, you're going to be more relaxed. You're going to be talking about, fun stuff, what you like, what you want to do, um, about yourselves. Make it about yourselves. And as I said, park those stressful things for another night. Um, Take the break from the routine, in other words. So therefore, you're both more relaxed. You're both more open to talking and being honest with one another. So therefore, it's going to help build the communication in that way. Um, the other point would be like, you get to know that person. People change. We all do. Even if we think we're staying stagnant, we're not. We're changing as we grow older. What we liked when we were younger, we may not like as we get older. So, our likes or tastes change. We develop. Um, you need to get to know that person, and you need to continue to get that to know that person throughout the course of the relationship. um, and that's where this comes. These date nights give you that opportunity to talk about those things. um, to feel supported, to feel connected, to feel safe, and to explore things, to help with self-development, but also to develop the relationship. The relationship grows um, over the course of its lifetime as well. So you have to think about that. You have to invest in it and help it to grow and expand. The next point I'd make is that, it shakes things up in a positive way. So again, when we're trying something new, maybe do a little bit of brainstorming together as a couple, think about things you'd love to try. Doesn't have to be a lot of money. Um, you know, but again, you're trying to step outside, be willing to step outside that comfort zone and try things, do a little fun thing together. Remember, you're doing it with a friend. And when you do something with a friend, a buddy, you are, it gains confidence. You gain confidence from that. You have somebody there backing you up and supporting you, and you're doing the same for them. So, that's a good thing. It helps, build that between the two of you and shake things up in a positive way, keeps things fresh and new. Another point, it actually helps reduce the chance of divorce. If we don't feel that connection, if we don't feel loved by the other half, if we stop connecting, stop growing together, we grow apart, we disconnect. And you don't want to go there. You just do not want to go there, because if you don't invest in the relationship and it is both your responsibilities, then it does die and wither. So do yourself a big favor, and invest in those relationship. So why don't we do it? I mean, the research is there. People that do invest in these date nights, even if they're not going out. I know we haven't been able to do those things. um why don't we do it? um a lot of times somebody like me will hear things like, it's not a habit. We don't have the habit, and it is a habit. Creating and planning that time out is a habit that you get into doing. It's kind of a set in stone night where it's vital, even once a fortnight, set in stone, time out just as a couple to be alone. So you don't plan them in, you don't plan it out. So that's one reason people say they don't do it. They don't even think about it. Um, whose responsibility is it? It becomes a chore, or has become a chore. And, you know, sure, it's somebody else's responsibility, because it does take effort, particularly if you have kids. It does take a bit of effort to, organize the babysitters and things like that. It's both your responsibilities. This is, you're both in that relationship together. It's 50-50. So you both need to be putting the investment in. Um, the other thing I hear is it's too expensive to do something like that. So therefore, you got to sit down and think it's not. It doesn't have to be too expensive. There are things you can do. Walking is free. Going out for a walk together as a couple in the evening. If you have somebody who can look after the kids, or the kids are old enough to be left on their own for half an hour, you can do it that way. You can do it that way to keep things going along. Even having a cup of coffee together, if you're near one another at work, having lunch together. If the person is working at home at the moment, then you could have lunch together and the kids are in school, or even a coffee date. It doesn't have to be expensive. It really doesn't. The other thing I hear, or we hear as therapists, we would hear is we're exhausted. We're too exhausted. And yes, life can be stressful and it can be exhausting. But you don't have to go out. You can do a bit of planning where, as I said, it could be a movie night in and the kids are minded. Remember, you've got a vital resource. If you are near your parents, the grandparents will actually take the kids and they'll pay for the privilege. That's what we do as grandparents. That's what we do. I'm a grandmother. That's what I do. Um, so think about it that way. Or think, is it cheaper instead of going out for the meal, eat at home or have a movie night in or a movie afternoon in and put the money into, an aunt or an uncle and pay for the ticket for the kids to go to cinema when everything reopens. So have a brainstorm. Think about it. Have a brainstorm. How can we, as parents, we might need to think outside the box a little bit here on how we can help ourselves and help support the relationship. But you do need that time alone, just as a couple, to reconnect. Um, there's one thing I'd like you to consider here. If there is resistance on one or other part, of one partner, it could be that that person has a problem with intimacy. It could be because of a past history that needs to be investigated, and it does need to, it does need therapy. So I would just highlight that to you. If there is something there that maybe you feel you can't get that bit closer to your partner, you would love to but you just can't because of something that happened in the past, then please reach out and get therapy. And the other thing I'd say to you is, relationships take work, and it does come down to both of you trying, but it's never too late. So you can reach out to a couples therapist and work with them. It's very important. So that's it for this week. I've left the link for the blog. There is more detail as always in the blog. There's also links out to other blogs, other videos, and other podcasts. I'm coming up on 100 podcasts now shortly. So it's very accessible. I'm trying to make the website as accessible as possible for as many people. And as always, thank you very much for listening. Thank you to everybody who watches. I know a lot of people watching replay. Hello, Deirdre. Always every week, solid as usual. And I apologize for Ginny's appearance, but she has a cat. She has a mind of her own, and she does what she likes. Lovely bit of sunshine at the moment. Hope it stays because we've had such horrible weather, but I'm hoping it stays. So positive, keeping it positive. So I will leave it there, and thank you all for listening.